Yeah, boys. Yeah. What's up, peoples? It's the People's Choice John Rodriguez in the black zone. It's all black in the background. Got the big guy, KG. He ain't black because he got all that light in his background. The Nubian Sumo is out there representing his smoking and drinking crew, living out there. Isn't it Good Time Gang? Got to plug
Good to go gang.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
GTG. Good to go, gang. Find it somewhere if you enjoy smoking a cigar, having what do you drink? You drink mostly like whiskey, right?
Bourbon, man. Bourbon. It's all about the bourbon.
You know, I don't drink it. You know, I ain't got time for all that. You know, once we start going past 100 proof, it's like, you know, I'm trying to live. You know, my kidneys, you know, Sumo's kidneys and all that stuff was, you know, in the beginning there was kidney. And then they made bourbon, and then Sumo was like, well, I've been here this long, I might as well keep drinking it. I ain't got time for that. You know, I like to be able to stand up and pee. Just saying. But it is us, the Wrestemaniacs, coming to you for a nice little down and dirty show. Just wanted to say hi. Hello. Welcome. You know, just like our usual. KG, anything you want to say to the people, salutation-wise, in the beginning of the show?
Well, I'm feeling good, and then you got the all black going on. It's like a Ministry of Darkness theme going on. You know,
I need a pick in the to pick. I had some hair, you know, with the fist.
Hey, I rocked that for 2 years, man.
There you go. Hey,
we go Afro.
You know what it is.
But I'm happy to be here, man. I am so happy to be here.
Yes.
This week has been a crazy week, man. It's just the things that have transpired so far, just around the sports world, is just absolutely wonderful. So,
well, hey, I know it's a wrestling show. I know we 4 minutes in, but hey, you may have even talked about it already, or you may be talking about a Sunday Rise, you know, Tuesday Night Flight, Thursday Night Throwdown. It may be on, you know, Drive Time with Matty Ice, or Pretenders and Contenders, or in the passenger seat. Somebody along, you know, one show that won't talk about it maybe is the Gridiron, but everybody else possibly could talk about it. This situation with the president of the WNBA. And I'm just gonna call a young lady. I'm assuming she's an athlete. She was a former player, you know, and how she was going off. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you talking about Nafisha Collier? Yeah, she's a current player. She plays with Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And what's your thoughts on that?
She brought receipts. I'm good with it because we talked about the WNBA. I remember in the early days of the Sideline Junkies. And when I say the early days, I'm talking, we've been doing this since 2017. So the early days is 2017.
Talking about back in the day when you had to have the headset on?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
talking through the podcast of the network.
We talked ad nauseum about the WNBA and, you know, why they weren't getting advertised and things like that. Now you got a commissioner talking about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They better be lucky they making money outside of the WNBA and this, that, and the other. Just the things that were said, like, yo, as a commissioner, you're supposed to push your league. This is not pushing your league.
Mm-hmm.
Val Ackerman would never. That's what I'm gonna say.
Who would you recommend to, you know, if what Stephen A. Smith would like what happened, which was she need to step down? Who would you like to see take over the WNBA? And I know you're like, everybody's probably watched, like, I thought it was a wrestling show, but, you know, this has some parallels here, ladies and gentlemen. As KG would say, you know, pull my coattails and follow me, because parallels, we talk in AEW versus WWE, WNBA versus NBA. We talk in TNA versus WWE. You know, same thing, WNBA versus NBA, or you could actually talk UFL versus NFL, who just had to move from some cities. But who would you like to see run the show? And how would you, at this point in the game, with leverage tools of a Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Over the past year, I've seen more WNBA players. You're like, wait a minute, hold up. Is this ESPN the body issue or something? What the hell? When this happened? The visual perception of the WNBA from a thirst trap perspective has also changed.
Yes.
You just look like, whoa. You are not the WNBA of old. You know what I'm saying? So who would you like to run it, and how would you run it now?
I mean, if I want to pick who I would have to run it, man, I would actually take somebody like even though I know he's not done coaching, but Gino Auriemma, because in touch with women's basketball, Dawn Staley, and she's nowhere near done coaching.
That's my thought. I know she said she wouldn't leave to go coach,
right?
But to be the commissioner, I think she may bite on that one.
But I would get a former player. As far as commissioner goes,
somebody that can move the needle.
Former player, history making player, and that's one Penny Toller. She used to work in the commissioner's office at one point in time.
Okay.
And she worked on the tops of WNBA, and I think it's about time for her to make her return to basketball, the WNBA, and really take over this thing, because it's like, okay, it's a women's league, and I would love to see women run every major aspect. Great.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to get somebody in there that wants to push the lead. Not push one player, but push the lead. And when these ladies, now don't get me wrong, I don't like the way they're going about it, but I agree that they should be paid more. Especially once the revenue started coming in, they started getting the TV deals. Yeah, let's give them the money. Now, I'm not saying they're supposed to get 30, 40 million a season, but the whole point is to get to the point where you don't have to go overseas to play. You can make your money here at home.
Overseas to be coming here.
Yeah. And at one point in time, it was.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of foreign players in the WNBA. Hai Shaw Zhang used to play with the Sparks. Mm-hmm. She was from China, and she's built like Arvidas Sabonis. And you couldn't move her on the block. She was the backup Lisa Leslie. You couldn't move her on the block. So when she got in the game, you wasn't dumping it down low. You were shooting jumpers all day long. Margot Diedick, the late great Margot Diedick. She was, what was she, 7'1"?
Wow.
And would swat shots out of the sky. But foreign players came here. But you gotta bring somebody.
Jesse?
What's happening, Jesse? I got you.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, you got it.
Okay.
I know you had it. You got it. But you got to get somebody like, a former player that's been in that player's seat, but you got to get somebody that's also been in the management role as well. So
what do they do? They get paid more because they need to be able to live and survive. They work their asses off to get there. And you get to the the Wheaties box and you still broke. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
You get to the Olympics and you still broke. That don't make sense.
And
you come home with a gold medal and you broke. That don't make sense. And you got to pay taxes on a gold medal. That don't make sense.
The Olympics birthed this league. The 96 Olympics birthed the WNBA because that team of women on a 96 Olympic team, mm-hmm. I think out of, 11, 12 of them, I think 8 or 9 of them went to the WNBA. The rest went to the ABL.
Yeah.
But that was like probably one of the best assemblies of talent for women that I've ever seen. And I don't think there's any Olympic team that could ever match wits with them. Like, that team was so good their poster was hanging up in barbershops across America.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, like I said, what could they do? And I know we're talking about, WNBA because they need to be talked about, but this again is the same logic for AEW. You got something. Now, granted, Tony Khan has a bunch of money, but the money, as we can see, doesn't buy you the status that you need to be able to be consistent with the big league. And the WNBA, same situation.
well, the WNBA has no competition. And with no competition, you shouldn't be fighting for anything, but you also have to use the talent you have.
Well, no, they're competing for viewership.
Yeah, but that's the
And
thing.
that's the Eric Bischoff problem.
You have to
you got to have TV.
You have to look at it like this. If you got a choice between the WNBA and Major League Baseball playoffs, 9 times out of 10 you're going to choose Major League Baseball playoffs, but a lot of people are going to switch back and forth. You got to know that you can't go up against certain sports. You can't go up, like if you put the WNBA on Thursday and it's during the football season and it's a trash game on, as far as NFL, like you got Cleveland versus the Jets on Thursday night, and you got in the WNBA you got Indiana Fever versus Chicago Sky, and both of them on 10-game win streaks, or the Las Vegas Aces versus the New York Liberty, 2 top teams in the league, and you like, yeah, I'm gonna watch that rather than watch this trash ass NFL game. You got to pick your spots. You got to pick where you're gonna be, but then also you got to make it accessible.
Okay. Well, it's on network television.
What? That's just it. I mean, everybody doesn't. I watch Ion. I watch Ion so much. I remember Ion was PAX TV.
I remember that. Yeah.
Channel 66. Mm-hmm. Like I remember that was regular TV. That wasn't cable. That was regular TV. I was mad when they moved it over to cable because I had to go get cable.
Right.
Like you could watch Touched by an Angel and Our House and all that with Wilford Brimley on 66. But you
Midnight Rider said KG's in the bag.
Well, I gotta be in my bag, man. This is good here. But you gotta make it more accessible. In the early days of the WNBA, you could catch it. Now you can get it on ESPN, but put it on ABC as well. If the NBA is going to NBC, put it back on NBC. Give me a Saturday game. Well, don't go up against college football. That's another thing. You can't go up against college football. So you're either gonna have to start in the middle of college football. You're gonna have to figure out something. Now you're coming on during the week. It's the same thing with the NBA. The NBA is losing viewership. Why? Because you cannot get games. There's no way. I live in DC.
Too thin.
There's no way I can get a Wizards game now because Monumental is not on anybody's cable network. It's not even on YouTube anymore.
Wow. So that they broadcasting out their own product.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I said this the other day. When it comes to the NBA and the WNBA kind of sort of had the same problem. And that's where you can view the games at. I used to be able to turn on WGN and catch a Bulls game. As a Bulls fan, I watched every Bulls game. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't on NBC, I could watch it on WGN during the week with Johnny Ray Kerr and company. Now I can't even watch a Bulls game unless I buy a package.
Yeah. Think about this.
I don't know where to find a
Everybody saw the Jumpman the first time. Everybody saw the Jumpman for the first time. When Jordan took off, everybody saw that.
Yeah.
Game 7, everybody saw that. The lead up to that, everybody saw it. In Maryland, we saw it. It's like, nowhere close to Chicago.
Now, I will say this. Midnight Rider said we get it on Hulu, and Jesse said they get it on Sling. Now, I do have Hulu. So I'll
check it out on Hulu. Right? Is a Hulu a day after?
Yeah. But no, you can watch. I think you can watch live TV on Hulu.
Finally? Okay. I don't have Hulu, so
got Hulu. But put it to you this way. If you made it accessible, not on OWN, not on Ion, you made it. Now they do have games that come on ESPN. But what about the other games that are going on at the same time? What about those West Coast games? Because everybody loves the Las Vegas Aces now. They love the Indiana Fever, the Las Vegas Aces. What about those West Coast games? What about the games up in Connecticut?
What you're saying is, if they're going to have a shot, the first thing they need to do while NBA is doing its own thing out there, put WNBA on regular TV.
Yeah, make it accessible.
That way you got basketball by default. But I'm going to ask you this, and then we're going to transition to the wrestling side of things. Who's the voice of the WNBA, commentator-wise? Because when I think NBA, Marv Albert,
yes. Mike Breen,
right? That's just voices that you hear, and then a those two things and certain voices. That's it. That's what you know. And for somebody that may not watch basketball all the time, when I jump in and I hear that voice, I'm gonna sit down because I want to hear what's being talked about.
I'm gonna tell you who should
have somebody that could be that for them.
They do
currently that.
They it's plenty of people that could be it. And I'm not BSing. And I know Midnight Rider watching. He like, I already know what he's gonna say. I know what he's gonna say. You know who should be your lead commentator for the WNBA? Basketball Hall of Famer Doris Burke.
Okay.
Her, what's my girl name? Kara Lawson went back to coaching, so she's not on TV anymore. But you got
should they have a male? Does it have to be all women?
I mean, it don't have to be.
No disrespect to what's and all that, but I mean, what if somebody prominent, start like Shaq,
Rebecca Lobo.
Oh yeah, I remember her. Yeah,
Rebecca Lobo is the Hall of Famer. Yep. Rebecca Lobo, her and Ryan Rucco.
I like this. What about Muggsy Bogues? Have Muggsy on there as a commentator.
I mean,
hell, put Spike Lee as a commentator on. But you see where I'm going with this.
But see,
if you have somebody entertaining there,
you couldn't put, because then who gonna go to the Liberty game and act a fool? If Spike Lee on the sideline, now you can't do that. Spike Lee goes to every Liberty game just like he goes to Knicks games.
Yeah, well, but maybe oh gosh, from SNL, what I'm talking about, Afro-American lady. No.
Oh, you talking about
Leslie
Jones?
Yeah, Leslie Jones. Have her commentate. She could do color, and then somebody else could do the play-by-play and then somebody else be the analyst. But if you have those type of voices and you're on more regular TV than the other NBA, people will watch because you've added the entertainment factor. I think that's what they're missing. Not saying that basketball needs to be, WNBA needs to be the Harlem Globetrotters, but you will go to the Harlem Globetrotters to be entertained and know that you're going to get a show. But if we could just get them in the door, and the only reason why we're talking about is because apparently, people listen to us. We can get the wrestling people to listen, then maybe we can get the NBA people to listen, and maybe somebody will give us some tickets or something. But if you have the right voices, that's half the distance to the goal for TV. The other half is you have the athletes that are already there that could do wonderful things and amazing things. And then the last thing I would say is they got to start, and I don't know how, but there's going to be somebody that's going to be, the Mutombo and dunk on him. There's going to be somebody that's going to just start, leaving the ground and doing some amazing things.
Well, you've already had that.
There's got to be another Steph, a female version of Steph. I don't know.
You've already had the dunkers. You had Michelle Snow,
okay.
Candace Parker dunk, Lisa Leslie. Lisa Leslie was first.
I remember that.
Candace Parker, Michelle Snow, Brittany Griner.
Jesse's in agreement on that.
What's her name? Damn, I can see her face. She wears goggles. She wears glasses. But she can dunk. She dunks coming down the fast break in every game she plays in.
Right.
She catches a fast break and she runs down the middle of the floor and they bounce past it to her. She comes straight down the lane and dunk.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. And everybody talk about, you should lower the rim. You should lower the rim. We ain't never lowered the rim before, and the game was still exciting.
Yeah, because then that's going to diminish the they got a lower rim and they got this. No, you want You can
They're
do
already
it.
playing with a smaller ball.
We talking 7-foot women. Y'all can do it.
Yeah, we're already playing with a smaller ball with the WNBA,
And that's fine because
yeah,
we
that's fine.
talking hand size. That makes sense.
Right.
That's proportional.
But when you talk about shooters, you had Sabrina Ionescu go head to head with the greatest shooter in the game right now. He's not the greatest shooter of all time in my book. I think he's like 3 or 4. But Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu at the All-Star weekend was wonderful, and she held her own.
Yeah.
Now she can shoot. Caitlin Clark can shoot. There's a lot of ladies that can shoot, and it's a lot of ladies that can put the ball on the floor, drive to the lane, and lay it in. Everybody, well, they not dunking. It's a lot of dudes that don't dunk. But I got problems with the NBA game too. The problems I got with the WNBA game is accessibility. The problems I got with the NBA game is the product is just bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to see one person
cautious.
dribble 15 times and then shoot a long range 3 and miss.
Right. But I like to see somebody in the WNBA dribble 15 times, shoot the long 3, and the person right behind them does the same thing, and they just draining them because they're that good. But again, the eyes on them for people to recognize that because Jesse agreed, and I think it's the commentating, and it's like we talked about is the accessibility.
Right.
Now, if we flip this, I'm sorry, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
And you can't have Rebecca Lobo doing every game everywhere. You gotta have your teams because
that's why there's special guest star because there's not a lot of teams.
Well, no, but
every area
team
can have somebody that's local that has the voice.
Every team in the NBA has their guy. In DC, it was Phil Chenier and Steve Buckhands. Buck and Phil in DC. That was the end all to be all. That once they broke that up, a lot of people stopped listening to the game on the radio. In Chicago, it was Johnny Red Kerr. When he passed away, it became Bill Wennington and Stacey King.
Right.
Out west with the Lakers, you had Chick Hearn. In Minnesota, Kevin Harlan. You had, I'm not gonna say I like this phrase, but I think it's diminishing. But you had characters behind the mic that were big, just as big as the team. So if you have those in the local market, but then when you go to the national market, you had a Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, a Steve Snapper Jones, the Czar Mike Fratello.
Yeah.
You had these people on the national broadcast. So you don't have just one. You have to have several. You got to have several people. And if you got, if Mike Breen or if you could actually swing Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy and Mike Breen, you get them back together to do a 3-man booth for a WNBA game. Everybody's going to watch it because it's a 3-man booth that everybody loves. You get the TNT crew to do a pregame and a postgame on ESPN in their style with Ernie Johnson. Ernie Johnson's the one person in basketball that nobody hates. Everybody loves Ernie. So you get Ernie over there to do WNBA. Granted, I know he's spending time with the fan, but you get him to do a couple of spot joints a couple of times a season. People are going to tune in.
And that's the one thing I'll give credit, to ESPN for what they do. They will move somebody over to something because I'm not going to lie to you. Mike Tirico, for the longest, when we were working there, was the golf guy. So the moment they said, oh, yeah, he's going to be on, the NFL. What the hell you know about the NFL? He's the golf guy. But now, Rico's the voice that I want to hear. It's like who replaces Madden and Summerall? Now we have those folks.
Right.
But, they were able to slot people in and move people around, and do some things, even with the flagship show, Sports Center, going to Scott and then, Rich Eisen for a time, rest his soul, Stuart Scott, but they were able to move some things. What was the name? Linda Cohn,
Kenny Mayne,
Kenny Mayne, the whole crew. But I will give ESPN credit for that. They will move some people around, but WNBA or anybody affiliated, if you're listening, we only saying 2 things. If you do get a new head of the league, get you some TV time that matters and some voices that can help transcend with the league. They don't need to be bigger than the league, They just need to transcend the viewership and the attention to the league. Now, when we flip it over to the wrestling side, we're talking about AEW has the best lane they've ever had an opportunity. Publicly, the head of TKO and Endeavor is talking about how somebody that everybody should hate with vile and vitriol did one thing right, focused on families and making sure families could come see the product because he understood the generational tie-in year after year after year. So they're outpricing. It may not everybody can afford it. Oh, yes, WrestleMania in Vegas. Vegas is easier to charge, $4,000 when somebody could play, blackjack and hit for 10. Okay, I can afford a ticket. I can afford a $700 nosebleed, all the way up at the top next to the pyro because I just won $700 on the penny slots. I can afford that. So Vegas is kind of a gimme. The Saudis throwing money at you, that's a gimme. But to, Joe average worker, Jack and Jill that is part of this government shutdown that wants to go see John Cena in DC, will they have a job? Are they going to be furloughed? All these things are going through their mind. And all they want to do is take their kid to see John Cena on December 13th, have his final match. But the tickets are dumb ridiculous. And the one thing about, I'm still going to call it the MCI Center, it is not a perfect place to sit for wrestling. You do not have a great seat in the house as you go around that bowl. Basketball, great. Wrestling, if the stage is large, you're effed for about 25%. And those are normally the ones of the affordable seats, you're effed because you have no view, true good view. And if they elect not to use the Jumbotron, you're really screwed.
Now,
what does Tony Khan do? He's got an opportunity now.
Yeah. You make everything affordable and you fill that void. But I said
they are. The AEW is pretty affordable. I can take, family of 9 to AEW and spend less for the tickets than one ticket to go to SmackDown on November 4th.
What did I say last week when we talked about hard times? We talked about being put back into a situation where you can't even afford to watch wrestling. Wrestling was your escape. Mm-hmm. And for the head of a company,
oh, do we lose you, KG?
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Just want to make sure
you don't have the scene effect. Go ahead. You said when the head of a company. When
the head of a company kind of downplays the price. Come on now, man. We in some tough times now. Our time's so tough. Some people voted because they wanted a lower price for eggs, and you still ain't got a lower price for eggs. A daggone dozen of Eggland's best eggs is like $7 and change, but we were supposed to get low eggs, right? That's what y'all voted for, right? I can't go to see wrestling because WWE has sold their soul. They sold their soul to the highest bidder each time.
Well, correction, you can go. Your kids can't.
Well, I got to put a second mortgage on my house before I go.
And therein lies the problem. Because how do you inspire to watch it, but it doesn't do it justice. The next generation, we talking about, the next 17-time, world heavyweight champion is going to come out of the kids that are 6 now. But if they can't get to the arena to see the production, and if folks don't know about the indies, to be able to support the indies, to just have that experience and just see it, then we got a problem. And AEW doesn't tour at the large market or as large of a market as a WWE now. But Tony has an opportunity. And that opportunity is just the gift of WrestleMania. His campaign should be, hey, remember when WWE was, hey, get the F out. That was their campaign back in the day. You know, it's almost like, or going even further back, Sega Genesis versus Nintendo. Sega used to have the campaign. Nintendo has this, but Sega has this. You know, that's where Tony Khan should be on his campaign. The hell with, well, they're going to counter program it. Good. Who the heck cares? But how many people are going to be there to watch it live? They're going to start having some empty seats that they're going to have to fill. And Tony should be right there. Hey, first of all, we're affordable. Secondly, for the amount that you pay, even though we joke about it, and Lord knows it was a long day, you get about 6 hours worth of wrestling. Minimum. It's like, God damn, Tony, I'm tired. These kids is tired. They got to eat. They got school tomorrow. Fuck. But I got my money's worth in reference to time. Get 6 hours of wrestling for an affordable amount, and the family could go to, and it was technically a family-friendly show.
Yeah, for the
Not
most part.
PG, because we had MJF there, and Lord knows MJF went ham. Loved it. But it was, the family enjoyed themselves. Mission accomplished. That's where he should start. And the second thing he should start with, and campaign now. Listen to me, Tony Khan. I know you don't want to rock the boat or poke the bear. F that. Every tagline, you should have a signs planted in there, all that stuff, and say, hey, April 2027 will be in the U.S., even though my last name is Khan.
But
come on now.
Answer me this. When AEW does their shows, when they do Collision, what's the other show? I can't think of the other show.
Well, it's only Collision and Rampage now.
Yeah. When you do Collision and Rampage, do they do them from the same arena every night, every week?
For the most part, yes. Unless it's something to where it's a special taping of something plus Collision. But we did Rampage and Collision all in the same night.
Okay.
Plus dark matches for what they have? The other show that they had that they don't have anymore. We had a couple shows for that too. So basically we went live and then they taped 2 shows.
Here's
took 6 hours.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
Dynamite. That's Dynamite. So it's Dynamite, Collision, and Rampage?
Yeah, Rampage is gone. I'm sorry.
Rampage is gone. Okay.
Rampage was the other thing. So Dynamite and Collision.
Okay.
But we saw all 3.
Now pull my coat and follow me on this one. Now, All In, when they do All In, you got to do that in Vegas. You got to either do that in Vegas, Atlantic City. You got to do that somewhere at a casino.
They need to do it in Baltimore. They really, Tony needs to stop being timid. Stand up and do what Vince did. And I know I hate the fact that I'm saying this because I told y'all he's turned into Vince by being shackled by the advertisements and all that stuff in the network. But the one thing Vince did, he needs to do, and that's go into the markets that matter, that have changed the game of wrestling. Now that the DMV has a casino, he should be over there at what is that? The MGM.
You got the MGM.
They should be
MGM.
there.
You got Horseshoe.
Not Horseshoe.
Not Horseshoe.
Be at the MGM. Just for the name recognition, and the flyover. Because what does WWE like to do a lot? Live from Baltimore, you got the flyover in the harbor and the aquarium at night, because Lord knows you don't want to show that in the daytime. But the flyover of the National Harbor, you got the big old Ferris wheel there and all that stuff. It's a nice setup. I haven't been to it yet. I've driven by it because I'm from Baltimore. It's the principle of the thing. But
Just say you don't love mumbo sauce.
Don't. But it tastes good. But don't. But the flyover would be great. And you could give that WWE, kind of poke in the back, just saying, hey, this is what we got.
Now pull my coat and follow me on this one.
I'm with you.
You can do Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
It's you got a casino in Connecticut. Atlantic City still got casinos, I think.
Gotta be with the Indians.
Yeah.
One of them Harris somewhere. Pick one.
Got because wherever you got casinos at, if you got an arena, do all in there. What happened to Stadium Stampede? What happened to doing shows on Chris Jericho's cruise? Those were great.
Jericho may be hopefully, and it's no disrespect, but Jericho's done everything in AEW he can do. There's nothing that you need Jericho for from a support aspect, because now it has to be on the younger talent that have been there long enough to raise up and help out the talent that's coming in. MJF has to be the locker room leader. Christian
I get that.
has to be the locker room leader. Jericho needs to come back and do one of two things: go into the Hall of Fame and retire wrestling CM Punkish at WWE, or come back and be possibly John Cena's last opponent, if it's not Edge.
See, here's the problem.
Because it'd be unexpected.
Here's the problem. If you got Jericho, and I believe, and I mean, we always associated AEW with Cody, but Jericho carried AEW on his back. You had him coming out to Judas, and they cut the music off, and the crowd kept singing. You had him a little bit of bubbly. That championship run, you had so many t-shirt ideas. You had so much merchandise sold. How do you not harness that momentum and keep it going? But then you sign all these people.
The machine isn't the machine the way the WWE is.
But that's just it. You have the writers, but you can't.
They didn't have writers.
Well, now they got the writers.
Now they got them, yeah.
But you can't put together a decent storyline. You can't put together rivalries. You have all the talent in the back, and you use none of your women's division was shitting on WWE's women's division. They had to pull ladies from the NXT to compete to catch up. Mm-hmm. Now you don't even use. Where's Britt Baker? Where's
she's gonna be here forever on the shelf.
Of course.
God, she by the time she get done, she'll be ready to retire as a dentist. That's when they'll finally let her out of the contract.
Where's Nyla Rose?
She out there. Did you know Nyla Rose is British?
No.
Or is she just doing a British? I don't know. Because she came across my social on Instagram, and then I'm like, okay, well, she got the little hair plug stuff, Nyla Rose talking, and then she's wearing some Union Jack stuff. I'm like, what's AEW over in the UK? And then she's like, hello, everyone. I'm like, what the fuck? Is she British? So then, I'm not looking down her page just, for any, general reasons, because, I'm sorry, but to each their own, but she's not for me. But I just was curious. I'm like, she can't be British. She's from the DMV. I thought she was born and raised in the DMV, because that was the thing, right? DMV, Native American, that stuff. And she spoke pretty good English.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good hood. And now this British accent's coming out, and like, watch it. I'm telling you, I challenge you. Go watch it. I feel like I sound like daggone Charlie Murphy. Go watch it. Try it. See. But scroll down and be like, yo, I think Nyla Rose really may be from the UK.
But
they should have led with that.
You could have. But you have.
Come on now. A UK Nyla Rose? That would have been better than what we got.
The only thing that AEW has going right now with the women is timeless Toni Storm and her munching on every woman that she comes across.
Yeah, but she can't do that forever.
No, but
they've done the right thing and take the belt off of her. No disrespect, awesome person when I met her, Chris Statlander.
Yes, Chris Statlander's awesome.
Statlander's not set up yet, and by set up I mean they haven't set her up to be able to carry the championship the way Tony did.
Oh,
or Mercedes could.
You have again. Let me run down the list. You got Athena, Deonna Purrazzo, the aforementioned Britt Baker. Who else we got? Julia Hart. Of course, we said Statlander. Madison Rain, Marina Shafir, Megan Bain, Mercedes Martinez, Mercedes Moné, Mina Shirakawa, We mentioned Nyla Rose, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, who's holding the championship for the Ring of Honor TV, a women's TV champion. Ruby Soho should be back off of maternity leave, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, if she would make a phone call to us or make a phone call over there to pretty much everybody that's been pregnant at this point in the WWE, they could be like, you can go back, right? Here's how you do it. Question is Daddy Magic back, but
you still got Taya Valkyrie, Thunder Rosa. We said Toni Storm, Willow Nightingale.
I need Willow to turn heel and become something different.
I don't care what she does, just wrestle.
She's awesome, and I love it, but I think she's got to that point kind of like with Bayley, where it's like it's not the same anymore. It's not catching. I need something different. You need to start a stable. You need to join the Hurt Syndicate. Just something different, just to spice it up. But I agree with it. There's a lot of women in there, and there's a lot of situations. I think AEW, in my opinion, still needs to press the reset button and go back to what it was in the beginning. And what it was that worked well in the beginning was it allowed there to be fresh faces and fresh opportunities. Not we're just going to push Moxley and put the belt on Mox again because we don't have an idea.
Well,
your number one guy does not have the championship right now, and that's MJF, your best talker. Your number two guy doesn't have the championship right now, and that's Christian, second best talker. What are we doing? Your number three guy from the EVPs, quote unquote, doesn't have the championship. That's Kenny Omega.
You remember this was put your thinking cap on and go back in your way back machine with this one. Remember we had a conversation right here on this very show about Kenny Omega and where he was signed when he was a free agent. Remember we talked about that?
Yep.
And we said, if he went anywhere else other than WWE, it wouldn't be long before he wouldn't be used right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, damn. Not only do we come up with badass ideas that people like to steal, but we predict the future too. Damn, son.
They just need to listen to us, man. They just need to listen to us. But just like, apologize again for that WNBA talk. But I thought it was a good segue to highlight and shine some light on that situation. But also it had a great parallel because, again, Tony Khan has the opportunity. He's only going to get one shot at this. One shot. Because one thing we know about the WWE, they will pivot quick.
Yeah.
Because if people stop showing up or they show up, and here's the rub, and they're not buying merch because they can't afford it, they'll stop that real quick. WWE's $1 billion machine will have a campaign out so fast saying, guess what? We're back, baby. Just like McDonald's did with the value meals.
And the snack wraps.
So long ago, I had to think about it. I'm like, what the hell was a value meal? Like, the hell with the value meal? Give me back the 99-cent cheeseburger. That's what you need to do. So really, you spend the same amount of money. They just call this something different, and number one's the number one. You ain't slick because by the time I make it large, I'm at what it was before. Either way. But WWE will make that pivot and then lock you in, and then you're good to go. So Tony's got one job. He needs to make sure that his campaign and whatever. Well, first of all, don't be afraid to put something on the same day as WrestleMania 2027. The moment they announce the day is the moment he announces the day.
But you can be able to do that. You know why? Because you can take that. If WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights or 2 days, because it's going to be 2 days, because I guarantee you WrestleMania for the first time in history is going to start at like 11:30, 12 o'clock during the day here. That's what it's going to do, and it's going to throw everybody off because everybody finishes their night. See, let me explain something. It's the way the new year starts. When we start talking about the road to WrestleMania, it starts off with the NFL playoffs, and the road is broad. So let's walk that road. Come on, put your shoes on. Let's walk down this road. The road to WrestleMania starts with the NFL playoffs, from your wild card to your divisional to your championship games. Then you get that week in between the Super Bowl. That's where the Royal Rumble comes in. The week after that is the Super Bowl. The week after that is the NBA All-Star game. And then we walk the road and we get the build-ups on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. We get all these build-ups. We get a couple of pay-per-views here and there. We get a couple of things that further the story for the road to WrestleMania. Then when WrestleMania hits in April, which is the end of April, bless you, it normally hits at the end of April, the last Sunday. But now it's the last weekend, but the last Sunday in April. That is how you get to WrestleMania. Now, and it's always been Sunday night. You get up Monday, you are still in awe what happened Sunday night because you ain't got no sleep. You were too excited. You're trying to get to work. You're trying to get to school to tell everybody what happened on WrestleMania. Now, WrestleMania has the potential to be going on at 11:30, 12 o'clock and being over by 3. And you sitting there like, what the hell am I supposed to do? This is where AEW does a two-night event that's actual at night. And it starts at 6:30, and it goes until about 11. You put on 2 cards. You put your best production team on it, and that's that. That's how you usurp the power.
Oh, I'm going to give you one more. Are you ready?
Gotcha.
All right. And I don't even want you to pull my coat. I just want you to hold on to your desk. I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to tell you exactly what Tony Khan needs to do as the Trump. Tony, if you're paying attention, I'm giving you the gospel. If you don't do this, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. Shad Khan is rich, right? Shad Khan is rich, right? Like stupid rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. So money's not a problem. That 2-night event is free on TNT. Free in the U.S., in Pittsburgh and D.C. How more U.S. can you get than Rocky and the president? You know, or the White House and all that stuff, you know, just as the concept of it. Saturday in Pittsburgh, Sunday in DC. No, they may have some opposition because, you know, WWE and the White House is kind of like this right now. But, but if ain't nobody in the arena and I paid my money, who the hell cares? So, free on TNT. And then that sets up your super show on, you know, Rampage.
You do you one better.
Better than free?
You got the whole country to choose from. Because WWE is going to be out of the country. You got the whole country to choose from. So if you got the whole country, think about this. You do one on the East Coast one night, do the West Coast on Saturday night. So everybody can stay up, do the East Coast on Sunday night.
But that's going to be hard for the wrestlers though to get back and forth.
But no. You got two different groups.
Oh, so you're saying you're going to do WWE at like, you know, one main event here, one main event there?
Or if you smart, go old school. Do matches from around the country, from all the old territories.
Oh no, don't that'd be even more.
So you go from all the old territories, and you have every star that's living that can attend in those territories. Even you do Canada.
Ooh, Stampede style.
So you got Stampede, Smoky Mountain. What am I missing? World Class Championship down in Texas. You got Florida Championship. You got everybody. You doing matches for 2 nights from different places, and it's all free on TBS.
I would take that, a 2-night indie spectacular. Actually, no. Just because the WWE has displaced the collective and all the stuff that comes with it that normally would be following suit with WrestleMania that year, you would just take AEW would just take advantage of all that.
Yes.
You and they would just air it all. 1 a.m. You've got AEW cross GCW.
Yes.
You've got this going on, that going on. You've got panels that you're showing streaming on HBO Max from, the Hall of Famers that are at, the autograph signings that normally are there that aren't over in Saudi. They getting paid not by the autographs, but by AEW.
Right.
You get a one-time check. We're not violating any rules on, okay, you're a legend. Hey, look, we're going to cut you a check. Not from us. This is coming from Time Warner. It's still Time Warner at that point. They cut the check just to be able to air the interview or whatever. Scott Van Vliet is doing his thing. You could jazz that up and it'd be a celebration of indie, a celebration of American wrestling, professional wrestling, from Catch as Catch Can and all that. I mean, you could do a lot. And they could do their first ever Hall of Fame inductions if they choose to, which would give you Sting. Technically it'd be Jericho, but Jericho may be out. But I don't know. You could do a lot with that. I like that idea better. And it's all free.
Think about this. You talking about getting with the indies, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go all up and down the East Coast because you got GCW, MCW, FCW. You still got OVW. You got all these different places that you can partner with. Bring people in for a night. But
Cornette needs to be there and be live with his shows. Conrad live with his shows.
Right.
With Bischoff stuff. Jeff Jarrett live with his shows. Stevie Richards has a good show. Maven has a good show. MVP has a good show. And D'Lo has his show. I mean, you could have KG. Bro, you could lace this thing so airtight and disgusting.
You do realize it's about to happen, right?
That they could rival WrestleMania.
You do realize it's about to happen. Now, WrestleMania is not going to Saudi Arabia till when? 27?
27, yeah.
Okay.
But that also, we talk about WrestleMania, but the most important day of the year has to be in Saudi Arabia as well. Or it's going to be really tight and tiring. And that's the Raw after.
Yes.
That's what other folks, they haven't mentioned that.
They ain't got that far. See, they took the blood money, as Perry called it. And once you took the blood money, you ain't thinking past nothing else because we got paid. It's going to be pyrotechnics and fireworks and everything. That's all we worried about. And we cashed the check already.
And drones. Oh my.
So now you telling me we got a year and a half to put this together. Anybody watching this, anybody listening to this, today is October the 4th, Saturday. It's 10:05 p.m. on the East Coast, right?
That's just TBS time right there.
That's TBS time.
If
we gave AEW the idea of how to combat WrestleMania in 2027. When it comes true, remember you heard it here first, because guess what? It's going to come true like it always does. Because we're going to
put it on social media. But for real, that's how you do it.
Now, we gave them 3 different ways to take some power from WWE. But what you got to do something that most people don't do. And that's what you got to do. You got to reach back to the past and pull at those heartstrings and say, hey, we still here. That's why you go into the territories. That's why you go into the indies. You do that, I guarantee you, the tides will turn.
Mm-hmm. And we're not trying to say, hey, we want WWE to go out of business. We're just saying AEW needs to stay around.
AEW need to fight back. Fight back. AEW, fight back.
Without the competition, because if WWE and TNA are like this now, so that means the other one that you could be like, well, that's 3 of us out there. No, it's just you, because WWE is smart enough to say, hey, you guys come on over here. Hang out with us for a minute. We're going to do something with you. Now the rumor is, to help them with their TV deal, TNA may start airing from the Performance Center.
Okay. So we got, as far as major promotions go, you got
Think
WWE,
about that.
AEW. Hold on, I got to get this together. You got WWE and TNA together. You got, I still count Ring of Honor as a major promotion. You got Ring of Honor.
But that's AEW.
And AEW.
Tied it together.
Right. So you still got out there, floating around. You still got NWA.
Yeah. For now, they're by themselves.
Right. So they're sitting kind of in the middle. This is where you do it. Okay, WWE want to let TNA use the Performance Center. Okay. Billy Corgan, hey, bring NWA on over here. Let's talk a little bit. Let's talk turkey, man. How much money it's gonna cost me to turn one of the whites only pies into a black pie? You know, you start talking to people. See, if you know you can't fight the bully on your own, you start going and getting other people to fight the bully. Now, I'm just using that as an analogy. Not saying that WWE bullies anybody, anything like that, because we don't condone bullying. I'm saying that WWE is the power force. You can't beat them by yourself. So what do? You join forces with somebody else to at least rival them. You may not topple them, but at least rival them to put your daggone product out there to fucking do something. You had all this heat, and now you're cold as ice. You can't do this.
Agreed. Because I'm gonna give you one extra layer as we wrap up. We are at the precipice. 2027 needs to be the start of AEW's 83 weeks.
How you know I was thinking that?
We on the same show?
Because I was
watch what's happening right now. Your guy that took us through the COVID era is your Stone Cold. He's transitioned out. Roman Reigns, my tribal chief, is transitioned out. He's going the way of The Rock. He's going the way of Cena. He's going the way of Stone Cold Steve Austin, by choice, not by injury. Roman is transitioning out. Cody is your John Cena coming out of the Attitude Era, ruthless aggression and all that stuff. So if we're transitioning out of Attitude, now we're in that building period. We've got Cody that's guaranteed GOAT. We're not using Seth Rollins the way at the level or really, in my opinion, marqueeing Seth Rollins as heavy as he needs to be, even though he's champ. And everybody else, CM Punk is a name. So we're not going to say, well, you got CM Punk, but, he's a name. CM Punk going to be CM Punk no matter where he goes. So he's separate. But as far as other talent, we still have some challenges. We're in development. We're putting some pieces of the puzzle together. That's when WCW turned it up and made the WWE be like, whoa, what's happening? We're comfortable with our family-friendly and, Repo Man and Duke the Dumpster Drosy and, Draws was a little, pushing it from the thing. You had the oddities and the Nation was pushing it a little, but then you also had the Gentle Giants of, things that WWE was cool with that. But here came WCW saying, hold on. We got some cruiserweights that show up in the middle of our show, and that's worth the cost of admission. Cruiserweights. Worth the cost of admission. You want to see something amazing? Come see this little guy called Rey Mysterio wrestle Eddie Guerrero at Halloween Havoc. Yeah, just watch that. You don't need to see any other gimmicks or anything. Just watch that. Who cares about Flair? Just watch that in the middle of the match. Who cares about Hogan, Warrior, Piper? Just watch the middle part. You don't need to know anybody's name, but I bet you'll never forget who Super Crazy was at the end of this show. El Dandy, La Parka, Juventud Guerrera, Billy Kidman, Chris Jericho. Just that's that middle hour.
And you know something? I think about that. I think about super crazy Juventud.
Yeah, forgot about Hoobie Juice.
When they came to WWE,
Silver King.
They lost they lost everything, what momentum they had because they used them wrong.
Right. WWE wasn't ready for that. You know, the Radicals, they just had so much of a personality. Eddie Guerrero was just, you know, magic in a bottle. You couldn't deny that. Chris Benoit was intensity in a bottle. You couldn't deny that. Perry Saturn just looked wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude looked like he's probably going to eat 4 people. Yeah, let's call him a heel real quick and get him on TV. You know, they just had that thing. But the collective unit of our 2, you know, was something. And then you started building around that. And then what do we have? We got access to see Norman Smiley's, Ernest the Cat Miller's. DDP started really rising in that second hour until he became main event status. You know, we saw the rise of Goldberg in that middle hour. Come in 30 seconds, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, Goldberg, they push him in the front of the hour. Boom, boom, boom. All right, he's still getting the pop. Let's start moving him in hour 3 as people are chanting, waiting for the entrance. Okay, we know Goldbergs are coming. And then Sting, you know, and then now we got the Hogan and the NWO turn. But that middle hour, that's what AEW can provide that the WWE isn't looking at or they're working on at the moment. They've got people there that can be that. You've got MJF. You've got the Hurt Syndicate. You've got I'll give it to him just because it's crazy, but the Death Riders. Christian is amazing right now. You know, you've got some people in there that can do that you can build off of. They just need to make sure they're putting the pieces of the puzzle together. That's the issue with AEW. Doesn't make sense now. Back then, Mina Shirakawa, the one that, you know, wants to be Freddie Mercury, I'm like, what the hell is going on? But I'm kind of with it. I'll see what it is. You know, we talked about Sonny Kiss. You know, like, what the flimity flam am I watching? But you know what? I also like the Velveteen Dream. Subtle. Sonny Kiss was a lot more outgoing with it. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Nyla Rose, transgender. The hell, wrestling? What the? You know what? I'll give it a shot. Let's see where it goes. Back then, they kind of allowed the situations in the wrestlers, Private Party, to beat their EVPs, the people that created the thing. Private Party won the titles. Smart. He had magic in a bottle. Oh, I think Cody should not have taken himself out the title picture, but MJF and Cody Rhodes and the belt situation and the 10 lashes, man, that was television. That was the magic of AEW. And then you had Jericho reinventing himself. You know, all that stuff happening, and Judas and then, you know, the Best Friends and you know, who else moved the needle back then? You know, we had Big Swole and Britt Baker, even though she was a Steelers, or she is a Steelers fan, hated when she went to Pittsburgh. Like, oh God, we're gonna see the terrible towel. But you know, when you hear the doctor is in, you know what's about to happen. You know, they had that magic. If they get that back, that hour 2 feel of old WCW, and put that as counter programming, WWE could have a problem. 83 weeks could become 84. It'd be amazing, but the WWE needs a kick in the pants in creative, because it needs to make sense. You can't ride the lightning bolt of yeet forever, because people's arms are going to get tired.
Hey, you know, I told Meatloaf that, right?
What?
I told Meatloaf that.
Oh, Lord.
4 letters, 1 word, and she go, yeet.
Yeah, no, she got to do the
She don't get that far. She get attention span about this big.
Oh, she just want to hurry up and get it out there. Like,
Yeah.
But, we want, as a show, AEW to really succeed and be able to just be that opportunity for the wrestlers, but more so for us to watch. TNA is just getting the rub that everybody's like, oh no. They said, just watch and wait and see. Now we're seeing the payoff, and man, it's epic. But that again, that's the WWE machine doing it, not TNA by themselves. NWA, they're doing their own thing. They don't have a machine that's pushing them at that level. But if they slid over with the WWE, they'd be in the same boat too. AEW just has the money and the wherewithal to make something happen. They just need to make it happen the right way to be able to combat what the WWE is doing and realize what sweet spot they're in. Change the game. All it takes is one thing: strip all the belts, spin the wheel, make the deal, lethal lottery. You have a real, I pull the names out and we have a tournament. Nobody knows who's wrestling what until the names come out that night. And then you just let it trickle down and you have a champion that comes out. And if that champion is oh gosh, I don't know, Max Caster, that's what it is. Platinum Max is your new world heavyweight champion. You're going to have a nice rap the next day. I would bring in Enzo Amore. You need the mouthpiece.
and let them beat up fans?
No. Well, hey. Hogan beat up fans. Macho beat up fans. Triple H beat up fans. Bret Hart beat up fans. You come in our environment, what do you expect us to do? We protect the business.
Well, so you're supposed to. You're supposed to protect the business. You're supposed to protect the asset, and I get all that.
So, I don't hold them looking at that situation like, nah, that ain't on him. That's just people being people the way they shouldn't be. But either way, AEW, you have an opportunity to do something epic. You just have to be smart and set it up to work out properly. So we've given you the lay of the land, but also WWE, because we know you watch, we've just alerted you that if you haven't realized that, y'all could be 83 weeks, you got to put this thing in there. And the Saudi Arabia WrestleMania can't be stupid. It has to make sense because we know they're going to want, we might as well just call it the gimmick battle royal. And I'm cool with that. But just because we could throw away millions of dollars to Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement to wrestle for what?
Well, one thing for sure, two things for certain. They're not going to pull out a cheap pop that they normally do at WrestleMania. Who do they always wheel out for WrestleMania?
Stone Cold.
Other than Stone Cold.
The Rock.
Other than The Rock.
DX.
Hogan.
Well, yeah. Oh, you're talking Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
You can't, and I always say that, you can't keep bringing Hogan out for a cheap pop.
Oh, trust me, it will. Millions of dollars could be a goddamn hologram commercial.
But you can't.
With Michael Jackson.
I always felt like
you're going to have all that.
Now, it's no secret how I felt about Hogan. But I always felt that was demeaning to him to only bring him out because you wanted him to draw. You couldn't bring him out on a Raw. You couldn't bring him out on a Friday night SmackDown. You couldn't bring him out except for when you wanted to draw at a pay-per-view. And it's because the pay-per-view was just that bad. Bless you.
Bless you.
So, I was like, that's demeaning to him. But I was in the minority with it. Hey, man, shut up. We want to see Hogan. Okay, fuck it then. I'll shut my damn mouth.
Under the right situations. And it's not even Hogan, to be honest with you. You just wanted to hear the song.
Play it on Spotify.
I think towards the end of it, well, no, it's a difference. It's like Eye of the Tiger, if you play it on your phone, it doesn't hit as hard as if you listen to the radio and you hear those chords hit and you're like, oh, it's about to go down up in here. You know what I'm saying? You working out and then they just start playing that, what happens? You start hitting them reps harder. Because it's just the way it's presented. You can't present Real American just because I can, and I got a lot of songs on my playlist, but that's not one of them. Because I don't want to, it doesn't hit me hard, or it doesn't hit me the right way as if, I'm playing 2K and then Hogan's the opponent, and then in the virtual world, that's the thing that comes out or plays, or, you're watching a vignette or something and then they play it, like, it just hits different. It always used to be, that was at WrestleMania 3 where they had the camera coming down and you see him coming out with the flag and pointing and doing all his Hoganisms. That shot right there, that was always epic in the opening crawl. That's the stuff that took me back to my childhood. So, AEW, we've just given it to you. WWE, we just provided you with a peek behind the quote unquote curtain. Irony, right? A peek behind the curtain. That, you may be on a bubble, not just on the pricing standpoint, but on the storytelling standpoint, to where it needs to make sense leading up to something. And it's not about it can't always be about Roman. It can't always be about Cody, because that's going to get stale. It can't be about CM Punk, but it needs to be about people that it's going to make sense. Ethan Page, Obafemi, Jordan Grace, Trick Williams. Remember when NXT, they would call up half of NXT to the main roster so they could bring more people in? Yeah, we got to get back to that too, because I'm waiting for Mark Henry's son to come in officially to NXT and start putting people in the House of Pain.
Well, we need to go back to doing NXT takeovers.
Now, don't you say that, because you mad. I don't like the fact they're using the Great American Bash or No Mercy.
I don't. Hold. That's two different things. I don't like the fact
if they are at takeover level, would you be mad?
What do you mean? No. A takeover is a takeover. Great American Bash, Halloween Havoc, Bash at the Beach. Those are pay-per-views of epic proportions.
But takeovers used to be of epic proportion. But if they stopped calling them takeovers and they called it the Great American Bash, but the event was equal to what we used to have as a takeover, would you be mad about it being called the Bash?
I don't.
Because takeover became a name of excellence.
Yes, because you had
not so much the event of what it was, which is great.
You had War Games. NXT War Games worked out well. But those were curtain jerkers. Mm-hmm. They were so good. You're putting on, do War Games, do 3 levels of hell, do all of that with NXT, but don't do Halloween Havoc and not really have the essence of Halloween Havoc. Don't do Bash at the Beach and not have if it lived up to that, I think I'd be okay with it. But it's like it gets no advertising. Bash at the Beach, Halloween Havoc, Great American Bash, even War Games, and none of the NXT stuff is really put out there. You have WWE on so many streaming platforms. That should be advertised on everything. That should be advertised on FX. It should be advertised on Hulu, YouTube, Hallmark Channel, Cartoon Network. When you got these things coming up, you should be advertising all of that. You should have the money. That's the problem. They think, it's WWE. The name itself sells itself. No. That's the problem that the Cowboys have, because they think the Cowboys' name sells. No, motherfucker, you got to go do the goddamn work.
Well, it sells. Which I don't understand why. I don't understand why. I agree with you, but I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, how are y'all still just marking out for the Cowboys the way you do? Don't get it. I'll mark out for Aikman. I'll mark out for Emmett. But I don't understand it. But they go into the Super Bowl this year. Just wanted to let you know. Because my Ravens ain't. Where they fucking playing. But that's a whole different story. Great segue. Sunday Rise. tomorrow morning. You know, we're gonna get ready to get out of here so you can have some time to get some rest, think about some wrestling, think about some WNBA, so you can. Oh shit! This motherfucker here. And sorry, we just went straight Sam Jackson. This motherfucker here decided to show the fuck. What have you been?
Been had an APB out on you for quite some time. Where the hell you been at?
Damn, I thought immigration took your ass. Like Easton got him. God damn. Because we know that R stand for Rodriguez with a U. They done came and got Sam. This motherfucker's back. Welcome. We happy to goddamn have you at the fucking end of the show, Sam. We could have used you when we was talking some crazy shit, but we glad you back. we glad you back. ICE took him and they gave his ass back. They're like, no, man, we don't want him back in our country. Fuck that. Take him back to America. His ass is too crazy.
Man, we've been looking for about a month.
Hey, you know what?
APB's looking for your ass.
October. Now we can say it is gonna be a great fucking month.
Agreed.
Thank you, Sam. Woo! Now, unfortunately, we're about to get the fuck out of here. So I ain't that about a bitch. So Sam, welcome back. Jesse, thanks for jumping in. Midnight Rider, was good to see you. As always, like we said, Sunday Rise in the morning. But don't forget about all the shows we do on Sideline Junkies Podcast Network, Tuesday Night Flight, Thursday Night Throwdown, Drive Time with Matty Ice. You got Pretenders and Contenders with Coach Devon, The Gridiron, in the passenger seat. We should have something on Wednesdays, but we don't at the moment. Fuck it. We don't have nothing on Fridays, but we may one day. Who the hell knows? We could fill.
And the passenger seat is on Wednesdays.
I don't know. It just shows up. They just like to just drive around and just snatch people into the passenger seat. So sometimes you sit on a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday. I just know that, you know, Drive Time is rolling over people on a Monday. Coach Devon is coming. And then, you know, Jack is just crazy. He just going to roll up on you and be like, what's up? I'm with the Sideline Junkies Podcast Network. Get in here and let me interview your ass. So we got a lot going on, as always. Plenty of opportunities for you to just chat with us and hear some tomfoolery and also some great knowledge from some great minds. So, again, like I said, you know, Happy Sam is out and about in the world. It's going to be great for October, knowing that we got Sam back in place so he can entertain you as well. And can't wait. Oh, man, Sumo's going to be so pissed that, you know, he missed the Sam. Shit. Feel like one of the kids just decided to actually phone home. It's like, God damn, you know, I send you the money. You out there in college hanging out with Reefer Rick and them. You could at least call and say hi. You know what I'm saying?
You say Reefer Rick?
Yeah, man. God damn, Reefer Rick. So it's always remember to diversify your motherfucking bonds because Sam said so.
And konnichiwa, bitches. Hold